Hi, everybody. Welcome
Hi,
to
Dr.
episode
Nick.
72 of White Heat. What?
Hi, Dr. Nick.
Yeah, pretty much. Presented by Godzilla Media, sponsored by our friends over at Johnstone Supply in Troy, as well as Mohawk Honda in Scotia Glenville. And of course, don't forget the Hideaway over at Saratoga Lake Golf Course, your home for Godzilla Media Football Sundays. The last one of the month actually coming up in 6 days. So it'll be it'll be the weekend of Halloween. So, dress up, make a Levac and Gaz laugh, and who knows? Maybe they'll give you a trick or a treat. I don't know. We'll see. That all being said, I'm Brian. That's JJ. Hi, JJ. How are you?
Hi. Oi.
Yeah. This gentleman got what was it? Your booster and a flu shot, I'm assuming?
Yes, because I'm dumb.
Well, some people react differently than others. I mean, it's not your fault. How are you supposed to know?
True, but I just maybe should have spaced them out.
What's the point? That's just an extra trip for somebody.
I had to be all like going there and be like, I'll take them both. I'm hardcore. And here I am, like, can't lift my arms.
I'll take Yeah, that's a hell of a quote. That's one way to put it, sure. Relating the COVID booster and the flu shot to fucking Beulah
and Kimona.
I mean, if you're comparing to women, that's not a bad pair. Anyways,
I'm still mad to this day about that fake ass striptease.
Oh, from Kimona?
Yeah. It was like, we're gonna sell this video, blah blah blah. The night Kimona stripped on top of the crow's nest. That wasn't shit.
Well, yeah. I got nothing for you on that one. Anyways,
I was 18 and very upset.
Thank you. Anyways, got what about stuff to get into today?
Yeah,
some interesting stuff. Real quick though, obviously, like we do with every episode, we knock out New Japan and Impact real quick. So, New Japan, really nothing to report, except they have. I'm not sure if this is actually the final card per se, but they have actually given out some matches for their event that's in New York City this coming Friday night down at the Palladium in Times Square, New York City. Mm-hmm. 5 matches currently booked as of right now. Going to be Clark Connors going one-on-one against Minoru Suzuki, 30-minute time limit. Also a 30-minute time limit for the strong open-weight tag team titles, a triple threat match, as Aussie Open will defend against the Motor City Machine Guns, as well as Kevin Knight and the DKC. Mm-hmm. 20-minute time limit tag match as Yo and Rocky Romero will take on Sho and Yujiro Takahashi. And then 60-minute time limit for that KOPW trophy thing. Mm-hmm. Going to be a New York City street fight. Takagi taking on El Phantasmo. And then the main event, 60-minute time limit tag match that was already announced. Okada and Eddie Kingston taking on Jay White and Juice Robinson. So that's the card as of now. Obviously, cards have changed. Matches could be added, blah, blah, blah. My assumption is there will be matches added because only 5 matches. Yeah. I wouldn't assume any of these going more than 20 to 25. So I would assume there's going to be a couple more matches added, but who knows?
You know something I realized in the past few weeks?
Yeah.
There's one New Japan name that I haven't heard in like months.
What's that?
Togi Makabe. I mean, I know he's pushing 50, but considering like the lifespan of New Japan guys wrestling into their freaking 70s, like,
right?
I'm surprised he ain't been around.
I'm trying to remember if he's been wrestling a lot of underneath stuff or not. I'm not exactly sure. He's been doing a lot of underneath stuff, and I just honestly haven't really been highlighting it at all.
Oh, okay. I just wasn't sure if he wasn't around or not.
I think that's probably what it's been. He's just been doing a lot more underneath stuff that I haven't really been highlighting per se.
Okay.
Like, let me just see, for example. I'll just take a look real quick. Take a look at their events from over the weekend from their tour right now.
I just realized something.
Yeah, he was on their shows this weekend.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he was in a 6-man tag, for example, yesterday. That lost to Hanare, Great O'Connor, and Jeff Cobb. So,
okay. I just realized this is our last episode before Halloween.
Yes, it is.
So I'm going to change it up.
And technically, if you want, we could record the next show on Halloween.
I am super busy.
Shocked. Fucking shocked. You busy on Halloween. Wow. Stunning. Nice glasses, by the way. Very
Oh no, wait. So the 31st is Monday, right?
Correct.
Okay, so yeah, we can record on Halloween. Okay, never mind.
Is it Sunday?
It's the entire weekend before and the night of that I'm busy.
Oh.
Gotta play damage control.
Nice damage control. Anyways,
that's what it is.
All right, so let's dive into again, New Japan, not much. Impact. Let me double check here if I have anything really of note.
PCO, baby.
The results from this week, yes. I was trying to remember if I had anything else. All right, so pre-show, nobody really cares about Dango beating Johnny Swinger. Let's just put that out there.
Nope.
Then the actual show starts. Chris Bay and Juice Robinson find that Ace Austin's been laid out in the parking garage.
Ruh-roh.
And they believe Bully Ray is the assailant. That's nice. Sure.
Bully Ray was always jealous. He never got into the Bullet Club.
Yeah, sure.
Because he would have renamed it the Bully Club, and then it really would have died.
I hope you're joking. Anyways, Bully Ray and Tommy Dreamer beat Bay and Juice to open the show. After the match, Bully Ray makes sure. He ensures Chris Bay that he was not the one who attacked Ace Austin in the parking garage. Sure. Then we got backstage.
It is
probably. So then we got backstage promo from Rhino and Heath, who are challenging leader for the tag titles. Then another backstage segment. Dreamer asked Bully Ray to promise he didn't lay out Ace Austin. Then Moose comes in and tries to stir things up. Once a scumbag, always a scumbag. That's nice. Then we get Taylor Wilde being Mia Yim one-on-one. After the match, Mickie James confronts Taylor Wilde. And then keeps talking and then talks about how her last rodeo is what she's calling this, by the way.
Right.
Then Deonna Purrazzo and Chelsea Green attack them from behind. Giselle Shaw jumps in as well, but then Jordan Grace evens up the odds. And
everybody fight in the back.
And this all set up matches, by the way, for over the weekend because there was, I know at one point there was a 6-man tag between the 6 ladies involved in this segment.
Yeah.
And then if I remember correctly, there was also on another night of the show in Vegas, the shows in Vegas, they had Grace defend the title against Giselle and then a tag match with Green and Purrazzo against Mickie and Taylor, I believe. I could be wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure that's what it was. Well, there you go. 6-woman tag next week. Excuse me. So that's what it was. That's set up a 6-woman tag for next week. Well, this coming week, I should say. Then we got Joe Hendry beating Jason Hotch. Yay. Frankie Kazarian giving up the X Division title officially. Macklin jumps Kazarian. Then Alexander comes in and makes the save. Sure. Eddie Edwards returns. Sure. Nothing really important there.
Honor No More is gone.
Kazarian tells Josh Alexander the segment backstage doesn't need anyone to watch his back. And then he tells Alexander never trust Bully Ray.
Well, yeah.
Rich Swann beats Eric Young one-on-one. After the match, yellow hooded followers known as the Design pull back Swann on the ramp, allowing Diener to take him out with a closed fist. Lights go out. Sami Callihan appears in the ring as he chases All Violent by Design with his baseball bat. More on that in a second. Apparently, Myers and Cardona are back together, and now they want the tag titles, I guess.
Again, like
right.
they weren't even really split. Like they were just like came in when it was there, and not because they call themselves like the social influencers or some shit like that.
Right, some stupid shit like that. So then they announce. They announced an 8-man tournament. Or is it 8-person? Let me see if there's any women. No, it's 8-man. Okay. 8-man tournament to crown a new X Division champion, in which they're going to have Black Taurus against Laredo Kid. And then the other quarterfinal on that half of the bracket will be Yuya Uemura against PJ Black. The right side of the bracket, Alan Angels, formerly of the Dark Order in AEW, now in Impact Wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
He'll take on Trey Miguel.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other quarterfinal will be Kenny King against Mike Bailey.
So, like, Bailey should get a bye. I don't understand why Black Taurus is in there. I don't understand why a bunch of guys in there. And like, really, like, if you're gonna be all X Division, like, seriously, just don't go with a plain ass tournament. Do freaking 2 4-way Ultimate X matches with the 2 winners facing each other, or do 2 4-ways with some kind of gimmick in the finals, or an Ultimate X match. Like, give people some reason to stay interested in the X Division, because you basically just freaking cut the legs out from under it again by doing the option C shit a week after the dude won the fucking belt.
You're right. Listen, I'm in complete agreement with you, but there's not a whole lot of forward thinking at all.
Scott D'Amore, hire me remote.
Then we get I believe this was the main event. I could be wrong. Hang on. Yeah, because they closed with a segment. So the main event match of the evening, obviously, was Heath and Rhino taking on the Kingdom for the tag titles. Heath and Rhino become the new champs.
Gee, we didn't see that coming.
Which was obviously coming because we knew about Taven Bennett and Maria arriving on AEW the week before, I believe it was.
Yep.
So this was a given. Everybody knew this was coming. So then after the match, Eddie Edwards confronts the whole group in the ring. Asks if people are being loyal to Honor No More. The main person he keeps questioning is PCO. And then PCO snaps and basically takes out everyone, eventually putting Vincent through a chair, and that's how he went off the air, with PCO standing alone in the ring.
Mm-hmm.
So PCO is unleashed. The one notable thing I did see from the tapings, if you want to call it notable, 2 new members joined Violent by Design, which were Alan Angels, who I just mentioned being in the X Division title tournament, as well as the artist formerly known as Connor from help me here, tag team.
The Highlanders?
No.
No. That's Rory and Robbie. My bad. Connor.
Ascension?
Oh, Connor O'Brien. That's what he was in the Ascension, yes.
Okay, yes.
Man, I had such high hopes for that dude.
That's that. They formally announced that Impact Wrestling's Hard to Kill, their next pay-per-view, is going to be Friday, January 13th. Nice date. And that Kazarian versus Alexander for the Impact World title is going to happen November 18th on their Impact Plus event called Overdrive. That's also when they're going to crown the new the new X Division champion.
Yeah.
That's when their finals are going to be as well for that. So that's all the news I have from Impact that I saw. So
I need to get on a soapbox for a second, just because I'm glad to see Connor O'Brien's getting work somewhere. But man, I was the biggest fucking Ascensions fan in fucking NXT. Like, they could, and I, like, in all seriousness, they could have been the new fucking Road Warriors. They could have. And they just, like, that was a prime example of Vince just killing a gimmick. Because they were over as fuck with that crowd. And the second they got brought up, like, they got that initial push for like a week and a half. And then they just became the joke. And like what I remember, the exact moment that I was like, this gimmick's never going to get over now, is when they brought them in, when they had all the legends in the ring, and all the legends just laughed at them and then kicked the shit out of them while they were delivering bad 80s promo lines. And I said, that's it. There's no hope for this fucking tag team now at all. And they ended up doing comedy shit for the next 2 years before they were released, with the Cosmic Wasteland shit with Cody and all the shit with Breezango. And they had so much potential. Like, imagine, if you will, like if things had gone on the right track back a few years ago and they had been brought up, and then you wait a little bit, imagine the fucking money that could be made right now with the Ascension versus the Raiders. Like, that was money that could have been had, and no.
Couple years too late.
Yeah.
Couple years too late. Real quick, by the way, I forgot. There is one thing I forgot to mention about IWGP. Belts by Dan, local guy, has been featured with Gaza's programming once or twice before. He unveiled his design of the new IWGP Women's Championship.
Oh, I didn't realize he was the one doing it.
And there you go. Obviously, the picture's a little fuzzy, but that's
but no. Two things come to mind.
Here's part of it. I'll give you part of the reason why it looks like that. It's technically being linked to Stardom and not directly IWGP.
Okay, that's fine.
I thought you were going to shit on the stars on the side plates.
No, main plate. Because you know why? Two things come to mind. One, it looks like all the AAA belts right now. And two, it harkens back to what the New Japan title looked like, I believe, during Vader's first reign. It looked just like that. It looks like the New Japan belt from like the late 80s, early 90s.
I'm trying to take a look at it right now. Hang on.
I mean,
the picture I see here, it's like a, no, that's not a good one. Okay.
Hold on. Let me see. That might be the wrong era. Let me see.
The one I'm looking at from Vader, because the first time he won the belt was when he wore the big black mask. He didn't wear the mask he's famous for yet, correct?
Right. Yeah, okay. When he was just wearing the black.
So the picture I'm seeing, it was just a big gold circle medallion as the centerpiece.
Okay, I'm looking.
Circle side pieces.
It was an older version of the belt. I'm just trying to look for it in like an image search here, because I recognize that look. And hold on, let's see here.
I'm kind of seeing what you're talking about.
Version 2. The version 2 belt. Hold on, let me
I should be able to look it up. Hold on. I'm gonna look up version 2. That's helpful.
Here, let me send you this.
Okay, yeah, I see what you're talking about. So it's kind of like a, how should I put this? If I'm seeing the right belt, it kind of had like almost like a crown look in a way.
Yeah, I just said that
as the centerpiece. Let me see if I have the same one you're looking at. Yeah, I'm looking at the same one. I'm looking at the same exact thing. Well, not the exact picture, but I'm looking at the same belt, yes.
Right, but I mean, look at that. That's a spitting image.
It's close, yeah.
They just took the crests out and replaced it with stars.
Yeah, and it just looks like a little slimmer just because it's going to be a woman's belt.
Right.
I mean, you're not wrong. I'm not going to argue that. All right. So, do you have your notes ready?
I actually did not take notes because I didn't watch it live, and I watched clips here and there. But so we'll just run through, and I'll give you. We'll shoot off each other.
All right, because that's funny because I did not come around to watch Dynamite because I admittedly slept through my alarm this morning until about 12:30 this afternoon.
Sounds familiar.
Which meant I had to get up, pills, eat, pick up Denise from school, the whole nine, and so yeah. I never got around to watching Dynamite. I watched everything else.
I was going to watch it this morning too, and I just dead.
I haven't fucking watched Rampage live. Why? I don't know, but I did.
I don't know either.
I was bored at 10 o'clock on a Friday night. What do you want me to tell you?
That's why I have Shudder, and Joe Bob Briggs was doing the Halloween special.
I don't know what to tell you. I was bored. Sorry. But yeah, so we'll get to Dynamite in just a second. But first, I want to remind you, my friends, that it is getting colder out. In case you haven't noticed, all you gotta do is step outside at like 7, 8 o'clock in the morning. You'll realize, oh, that's why there's frost warnings now. Huh, interesting. So that means you need to make sure that your house is ready to roll for those colder temperatures. If you haven't already put on your heat, you're going to be putting it on soon, which means you need to make sure that your heating system, your furnace is ready to rock and roll. And that's why you got to talk to our friends over at Johnstone Supply in Troy. All great brands, all at great prices and in stock, including Goodman, Fujitsu, Westinghouse, and so on and so forth, to fix the parts of your furnace that need to be replaced. Or hell, if you need a brand new system overall for your heating, including a thermostat and whatnot, Johnstone Supply can hook you up with that as well. Go talk to George, our good friend who's been with Gaz a number of times. Go talk to Bird. Go talk to Kev and James. They'll all be able to make sure you have a warm place to sit and rest your legs at the end of the night every time you get home from work, or if you're done spending time out playing in the snow later on in the winter with your kids or the rest of your family. Hell, you have a nice warm place to come into to melt the snow off and have a nice thing of hot cocoa. Yes, I'm setting up weird scenery, but fuck it. It makes sense for the promo. That being said, make sure you contact Johnstone Supply and try to hook you up, 518-272-5922, or pop in and visit them at their store at 2600 6th Avenue in Troy. Make sure you get your furnace checked and parts replaced, or get yourself a brand new heating system overall with our friends at Johnstone Supply. 518-272-5922. Visit them at 2600 6th Avenue in Troy, or visit them at johnstonesupply.com. So now we jump into Dynamite. I don't know why I did that. I'll never do that again. Sorry. So show opens with the Trios Championship being defended by Death Triangle against Best Friends.
Yay.
So basically, Orange Cassidy trying to become the second double champion in AEW history.
Because, like, literally, this is why, like, they could have, well, number one, there's no reason for the Trios belts. Number two, there was no reason to put the Trios title on a group where one of the guys already had a singles title. Right. Because now you're just ensconced in this bullshit where it's a game of hot potato with who gets title shots, because one group has a guy in it that's got a singles belt.
I'm a potato.
I'm a banana.
That's what Quincy Elliott was saying on Saturday night.
Yep.
Anyways, so Death Triangle wins. Phoenix got a pinfall. Wow.
It's amazing.
So after the match, there's a video package. Moxley talking about defending the title in his hometown, blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm. Then
they go to commercial. Baker and Hayter being interviewed backstage. Hayter proclaims that her or Britt will be new women's champ by the end of the year. Sure. Which then leads up to Toni Storm defending successfully the interim women's world title against Hikaru
Shida.
Hikaru Shida, thank you.
Which, why?
Because they won their tag match the week before and Shida was getting rewarded. I don't know. I don't fucking know.
Exactly.
I don't know, okay?
Like, Hikaru Shida just came back and had one tag match, and now, title shot, sure.
Listen, you know the rankings are oblivious at this point, so there's no rhyme or reason to the title matches. As much as they weren't a rhyme or reason to begin with, now there's even less rhyme or reason, okay?
Oh, so but they're getting back to the rankings. They're revamping them. That's what Coke Moranis said.
My dick. After the match, Hayter, Rebel, and Britt jump Storm and Shida. Then Saraya comes down, tackles Britt, throws some punches at her. Riho jumps in.
Everybody gone out. Riho!
So really the big thing was Riho returning with the segment. Sure.
The words big thing and Riho should never be in the same sentence.
Main thing. Sorry. Okay. The main highlight. Is that better? Jerk off. Then we get a video package about the Kingdom debuting on Rampage the week before. Sure.
Yay.
Then FTR gets interviewed backstage by Renee. Dax talks about their tag titles, blah, blah, blah. Basically talks about how they want to shot the AEW tag titles. And Swerve in Our Glory rolls in and basically says, let's have a number one contenders match next week. So that's what we're getting this week.
Where FTR is going to do the job because Swerve is going to do something dirty because Swerve wants, because this is Tony Khan's logic is the Acclaim won the belts from Swerve in Our Glory, but they did it dirty. So then Swerve took out fucking Billy Gunn, but did it dirty. So this means this is going to be the full heel turn where Swerve like does something dirty to get into the championship match. And then during that match, the entire team is either going to turn heel or Swerve is going to turn on Keith Lee after they lose.
We'll see. So we get back from commercial. I read ahead while you were talking, and I'm So Jay Lethal and Darby Allin are face-to-face backstage. Alex Marvez is between them. Did you know Jay Lethal and Darby Allin had a no-contact clause?
No.
Apparently they did. Because that's what Alex Marvez says to them when they start.
Why? They had a match. And then after the match, they shook hands.
Well, Jay Lethal says he wants a rematch. Darby says he'll give him a rematch. He'll give him rematch. Sanjay then pops in.
So no, that's that bullshit that they forget about half the time, where there is supposedly a overstanding no contact clause during face-to-face interviews in the back.
Sure.
But it's only for face-to-face interviews. If it's a single person and they get jumped, it doesn't count. Because that makes sense.
Dumb.
Yes.
Then Sanjay comes in, says they know Darby's weakness. Says Darby looks
beating
like
women.
A trash panda. That's nice. Then Darby shoos Marvez off and shoves Sanjay, I guess. And then Jay and Sanjay and I'm assuming Satnam Singh also jumps in. They toss Darby into a garage door.
So Jay is not a babyface.
And then they close the garage door on him. And then Jay puts on a figure 4 leg lock while he's still trapped on the garage door. That's nice.
So it was a swerve, bro. They only teased Jay Lethal going babyface.
Sure. Then William Regal's in the ring being interviewed about Blackpool Combat Club's title matches. Okay, sure. Then MJF comes out, interrupts him before he can even say anything. MJF says he's just here to talk. He goes into... Have you seen this promo, by the way?
Most of it. And it's MJF and Regal. You can't go wrong.
Right.
Like,
so
Regal can pull good shit out of almost anyone.
Right. So basically, MJF cuts a promo about Regal. Essentially, he blames him for being fucked over and never getting a chance in WWE, blah, blah, blah. And then, yeah, that's pretty much it. Blah, blah, blah. Keep going. Regal. And then Regal responded, eventually turned his back to MJF, telling him to go ahead and take a shot. Mm-hmm. MJF pulls out the diamond ring, puts it on, decides not to hit him. And then Regal leaves and says something along the lines of, "You have a lot left to prove," I believe is what he said.
Because they're going to go ahead with this fucking babyface turn.
Then they do a video package about the Ring of Honor World title match tonight. Whatever. Then the Acclaim get interviewed and talk about Mark Sterling's trademark on the scissoring thing. And then basically they offer a title versus trademark match for Rampage.
Because reasons.
Right. Then we come back from commercial. Renee is interviewing Danielson and Yuta. Yuta basically
gets mad at Danielson.
Yuta basically says that Mox and Claudio truly represent what BCC is about, but not Danielson. And basically says, never meet your heroes, and storms out of the interview.
Boy.
That's nice. Then we get Jericho and Dalton Castle for the ROH World title. Jericho wins.
My surprise face.
After the match, Jericho cuts a promo with the JAS on top of the stage. Then 2.0 grabs Ian Riccaboni from the announce table, but then Jerry Lynn comes out and takes the belt from Jericho. Then Jericho tombstones Jerry Lynn on the ROH World title. Jesus fucking Christ.
Very gently.
I mean, wouldn't you?
Still, did I not tell you this was going to happen?
There's no point in share.
I know, but did I not tell you this was going to happen?
You did. Then we got a video package of Christian Cage talking shit about Jungle Boy. Go to commercial, come back. Baddies are looking for Nyla Rose and just ignore Renee asking for an interview. They walk up to Jade. Renee follows them. Jade says she's going to demand her belt back on Friday night. And if Tony Khan doesn't make that happen, she's going to hijack the show. Because, Rampage isn't worth hijacking or anything. People might want that, actually. Hangman attacks Moxley during his entrance for the title match and brawls him on the floor.
Because that's what baby faces do.
Yep, and then they eventually go to break. They come back from commercial, and the match is now officially on the way, and they're in the ring. Blah, blah, blah. Then we get to the moment everybody's talking about. So let's stop here for a second. So, I've watched this clip a few times. And honestly, I was 95% sure I knew what happened after the first time watching it. But I watched it a few extra times just to make sure my eyes weren't deceiving me.
Right.
Ladies and gentlemen, I want to proclaim something right now. You don't have to do a fucking twirling tornado 360 out of every fucking lariat. It's not Nessa. It's very not Nessa.
Mm-hmm.
And because 90% of the roster is indie-rific, here's Hangman Page taking a lariat from Moxley, doing the twirly bird bullshit landing.
Mm-hmm.
And what does he do? He lands on the top of his forehead and gives himself a concussion.
Mm-hmm.
And Paul Turner should throw up the X and call the match.
Mm-hmm. Now I know there's been a lot of debate as to fault because people, especially there's so many fucking people who have never set foot in the ring and never taken a bump that have so much input to put in this and need to shut the fuck up. And the most happy medium I can say is to say it was both their fault. It was 90% Page and 10% Moxley. Because
where's the 10% Moxley for?
Because, and this like I said, 10%, because Page went to do the flip bump and Moxley was doing the follow through. So Moxley kind of clipped him in the wrong spot. But then again, that was all he could do to make it look like a connection, which is why I'm not saying it's a 50-50 thing or whatever. I actually probably say 95-5, if better. Just because Moxley was still trying to save it when he saw that fucking Page was already trying to do the flip bump too fucking early.
I don't put anything on Mox at all. Personally.
I mean, truthfully, I wouldn't either, but nothing is ever in absolutes, so that's why it's such a slim thing. It reminded me of Sabu and Benoit.
Mox didn't tell Hangman to do the flippy flip.
No, he didn't. That's
on Hangman.
He just said take the lariat. Or actually, maybe we don't even know. Maybe he said duck the lariat. And, Adam Page doesn't listen to veterans, so. But yeah, no, it reminded me of that ECW match between Benoit and Sabu. Right when the match started and Benoit did the back body drop and Sabu just landed straight on his head and broke his neck.
Yeah, I remember.
And that really wasn't Benoit's fault. That was Sabu trying to get too much height on it, and it happened.
And yet, almost 3 decades later, kids are still landing on their head on purpose.
Well, of course, because
fucking stupid
gymnastics, bro.
So here's the release that AEW put out afterwards. Within like 24 later that night, they said Hangman Adam Page was taken tonight by medical personnel to a Cincinnati trauma center and diagnosed with a concussion. He was discharged, but will remain in AEW's concussion protocol. AEW and Hangman are grateful for the exemplary response and care of staff and local medical personnel and are appreciative of the love and support of fans everywhere.
AEW's concussion protocol, the same concussion protocol that told Matt Hardy, "You're okay, keep the match going."
Listen. Yo, listen. If you're shitting on Mox at all for this, you need to go fuck yourself. All right? Let me just put that out there, right here, right now. In case you couldn't tell from the last 5 minutes, go fuck yourself. I know you're not going to deal with absolutes, but I'm going to fucking deal with absolutes. None of that was Mox's fault. It's Hangman's own fault for deciding instead of flat-backing Lariat to try and be a little twirly bird 160-pound shit when he's, what, 230?
Right.
That's on him for trying to be... that's on him for trying to oversell.
Right.
Plain and simple. And to me, overselling is not even an art form anymore because everybody tries to do it now.
Yeah.
Back in the day, obviously, Shawn Michaels was one of them. Flair was one of them. I'd even say Harley at certain times was one of them.
Yeah.
There were certain guys that could do it and get away with it. And it would look fine.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean everybody should fucking try it.
Right.
You should know within your limitations what you're able to do. And clearly, at least in regards to this, Hangman, like, obviously there's accidents.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there's a time and a place for everything. That wasn't the time or the place for that. So to put any of that on Mox, I think is it's a gross travesty to put it all on Moxley.
Right. I wouldn't put it all on Moxley. Like I said, it's a matter of personal opinion, and that's why it's a very slim margin, just because it's a dance of two people. But I mean, yeah, it's like primarily it is Paige's fault. It actually reminds, there's a term we used to have back at the dojo when we used to talk about people who did shit like that. It was called bump like a Muppet. BMT used to be guilty of it all the fucking time. We actually, there was someone in WWE that did it for a long ass time and finally learned to stop doing it. And that was Dolph Ziggler. He used to bump like a Muppet every fucking week.
I mean, just look at the stuff with him in Del Rio.
Yeah.
So then we get to, obviously, now they're trying to fill time.
Right.
Because, the match wasn't supposed to end like that.
Derp.
So Rio comes out to the ring, congratulates Mox. Commentary is filling time by hyping up the upcoming card for Rampage as well as this coming week on Dynamite.
Mm-hmm.
Then they go to the ring like Mox is about to cut a promo.
This was all Tony Khan not knowing how to book on the fly.
So Mox starts cutting a promo. Then MJF storms to the ring with referee Bryce Remsburg and his chip. Regal gets in his face. So MJF basically acts like he's going to cash in, but he ends up bailing out of the ring, but leaves the chip with Regal. Grabs a microphone from the commentary table and announces he's going to cash in his chip at Full Gear. So now you've taken all
the allure,
all the surprise you possibly could have, and killed it within 5 minutes.
Yep.
Cause
reasons.
Thank you. Yeah, just dumb. Just all 50 shades of fucking dumb right there.
Like, I feel like there was a possibility that the match was supposed to finish and then MJF was going to show up on the ramp, like with the referee just as they were going off air. At least that would have been smart. But because they have this just proved that Tony Khan isn't even an indie booker where he doesn't know how to fill space like this. The smartest thing they could have done in this is they pull up the X, they go away, they go to the announce table. They have the announce team talk about, we hope that he's all right, coming up on Rampage, yada, yada. And then what they should have done to keep things going is have one of the Rampage matches come out and start, and then just start going off the, like, get a couple minutes in. It's a tactic they used to do on Saturday Night's Main Event. Have the match start, and even if they don't have the TV time allotted to finish it, be like, we've got to go off the air, tune in on Rampage to see the conclusion. Because everyone knows that Rampage was live. That's right. So they couldn't have done that. But still, just
I get the point of what you're trying to say, though.
Tune in on our YouTube channel to see the conclusion, something like that, or tune in on Rampage and we'll air the conclusion, something like that, just to pass it along. Send out Wardlow for a freaking 30-second squash match with one of the indie guys you got there. You could have filled the time. They had 8 minutes left.
Speaking of Wardlow,
mm-hmm.
No, you could have done. If you want to bring things full circle at all, they could have done the same exact thing they were doing.
Had Wardlow come out and stop MJF.
Right.
Yeah, they could have.
But again, that's too imaginative, so.
Right.
Whatever. All right, so then we get to a live Rampage from Jacksonville. But before we get to that...
Deodorant.
Not even. The day before...
Oh, yes.
Thursday... was a massive, highly anticipated meet and greet in Jacksonville with the owner, general manager, lead booker, king shit of AEW.
King shit of fuck mountain.
Thank you. Of Tony Khan. This is your turn now. All of a half dozen people in the Jacksonville Jaguars practice facility. And Tony Khan standing there with a thumb up his ass, not sure what he's going to do to kill 2 hours with 6 people. Fuckface Magoo. So, then we get to the night of the show, Friday night. So the Acclaimed beat Neeson Woods, retained their titles, and earned the trademark back for Scissor Me Daddy.
Wow, that was an invigorating week.
Yeah. Then we get a Tony and Jade pre-tape. Obviously, Jade's pissed. She's trying to get her TBS title back tonight, blah, blah, blah. Then we get Eddie, Kingston, Ortiz, and the Lucha Bros backstage. Because technically, I guess they're all family-ish.
Okay.
Then Pac comes in, completely kills the mood because Pac and Eddie are like boiling water.
Mm-hmm.
And that's basically how they end the segment. Then we get Page. Oh, Ethan Page. I was trying to remember which page it was. Ethan Page, Stokely, and Matt Hardy backstage. And Matt was wondering why he got brought to Rampage. And Stokely presents Matt with a contract for a match on Dark Elevation. That's fucked. That's so fucked. Then
so hold on. So we need to back this up just 1 second.
Yep.
So the perfunctory fucking argument of all the AEW basement goblins is that Dark and Dark Elevation deserve just as much credit as Dynamite and Rampage, and that they are legitimate shows. Yet it's the butt of the fucking joke to have Matt Hardy have to go work on it.
Do they have any advertisements playing during the shows? And I'm not including like YouTube advertisements, legitimate advertisements.
Like you mean
like do they have legitimate 2 to 3 minute commercial blocks built into those programs?
No, just your typical YouTube ads that cut in the middle of shit.
So suck a dick. No, it's not as legitimate as Rampage and Dynamite.
You know this, and I know this.
If I could skip your ads without fast forwarding on a DVR, then fuck off. Anyways, then we get Willow beating Layla Gray. Ladies and gentlemen, Willow Nightingale is now all elite.
Gee, it's like someone listened to what I said a few weeks ago.
A few weeks? I think you're being too nice. I've been saying it for months, you fuck.
I have, but I'm just saying the last time I said it was a few weeks ago.
So Willow Nightingale is now official elite, which means
she'll be on Dark Elevation.
By popular demand, yours truly and Mr. Alexander are going to start a regular segment. Really, it's by Mr. Alexander's request. We're going to do a weekly recap of where Willow Nightingale is, called Willow Watch. Because
that's right.
JJ's fucking smart.
Starting next week. Because obviously we know what happened this week. So starting next week, we will have Willow Watch because, and this is a completely serious thing that I want to embark on because I've defended Willow Nightingale many times on this show. I think she's an amazing talent. I think she's got everything it takes. She's fucking beautiful. She deserves more than what she's been getting. And everyone thinks that now that she's contracted, that means she's going to get pushed. And I don't think it's going to happen. And unfortunately, so I'm going to keep an eye and see where she is featured into things, because this is someone who you need to realize that in the past year and a half, while she was not under contract, already was put in title shots and made to lose. So I don't understand what's going to change that now that she's under contract. I wish the best for her, but the realistic part of me doesn't see anything good happening.
So does this mean I gotta watch Dark and Dark Elevation now?
No, just check the results.
God. All right. So yeah, that was revealed because Tony Schiavone got in the ring to interview Willow. Willow apparently didn't even know the goddamn
image
was on the screen behind her. But congrats, Willow. Good luck. So then Jade comes. Go ahead.
Let me just add, and I guarantee the only reason that she was all of a sudden snatched up out of nowhere is because of the fact that Gabe Sapolsky has been put back in charge of being a talent scout for NXT, and Willow has always been on Gabe's radar.
Fair, probably. You're not wrong. So then Jade comes out with a chair before Willow has even gotten out of the ring. Thankfully, she didn't attack Willow, because that would have been a nice way to bury Willow right away.
Seriously.
So Jade just takes the chair, places it in the middle of the ring, sits in the ring, and says she's going to wait for Nyla to bring her belt back, as was agreed upon. Then Nyla appears on the screen, stealing Jade's car. So
ripped off Eddie Guerrero.
God damn. Well,
I love Nyla, but that was the serious. That was legit. Early 2000 SmackDown Eddie Guerrero, just straight rip off.
Just remember who's in the car with her. That's all you need to know. That's
true.
By the way, if you don't know the answer to that question, the answer is Vicky Guerrero, motherfuckers. Then we get Vince. So basically, they had to figure out a way to explain why the fuck they had a triple threat All-Atlantic Championship match as their main event. The way they explained it is that there was apparently a confrontation at what looked like a bar of some sort the night before between Vance and Roosh. Orange Cassidy just suddenly pops up from behind the bar with a backpack and says he'll defend the title against both of them. So that's the way they're going to do that.
The fucking backpack, I swear.
I was wondering if you were going to comment on that.
Well, it's because, of course, everyone's like, well, he did that on the Indies, too. Doesn't make it better. It was stupid on the fucking Indies. He can't be bothered to carry it, so he puts it in a backpack. It takes more work to put it in the backpack than to put it around your fucking waist.
So, question.
Yes.
What annoyed you more about that match? Orange Cassidy carrying the belt inside a backpack, or Preston Vance coming out with Brody's son?
Oh, Jesus.
Now, thankfully, he was sent to the back after coming out, so he wasn't like ringside for the match.
But still, once again, and it's not like they were in fucking Rochester, so they had to fly the fucking kid down there when he should be in school. Like, seriously, stop it. Fucking stop. And it's not like fucking Preston Vance won.
No, Orange retained.
So what was the point?
I have a question to ask, but I don't want this to come out as disrespectful, but I'm going to ask the question anyways. Because this person is a paid member of the AEW corporate structure, per se. I really don't want this to come out as insensitive. So, like, it might come out sounding insensitive, but it's not meant to be insensitive.
Right,
so
I get you.
I want that to be understood, not just for you, JJ, but for anyone watching or listening. I want that to be understood clearly. This is not me trying to be insensitive. It's just a question I feel like has to be asked at this point with everything that keeps happening in AEW regarding the deceased Brody Lee. At what point do we start asking questions how much input Amanda has into all this? And if Amanda is suggesting any of this at this point.
Right.
And if she has any control over it. Because she is technically on their core. I think she's on their marketing staff or something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
So she's employed by the company.
Yeah.
So like it makes me wonder if this is all Tony if Amanda's in the mix with these decisions when they focus on Brody at any point. Like,
right. Like she was like,
it makes me ask questions. That's
like
all.
something like she was told with like 2 days notice, by the way, I need you in Jacksonville on Friday. And she couldn't find a babysitter. So she had to fly the kid down with her. And then they were just like, well, fuck it. Since the kid's here. Yeah, I get that. Yeah.
Yeah. Like and again, like I said, no insensitivity meant by that question. I just feel like it's an appropriate question to ask just because, like, if she had zero standing within the corporate structure of the company, I wouldn't even ask the question.
Right.
But because she is employed by the company in some shape, way, and capacity, I feel like it's a fair question to ask.
Exactly.
At least, you know, or at least figure out, like, even if it's a percentage.
Right.
Like, or if it's really just all coincidental shit that's being done by TK, which I highly doubt, but just something I thought I'd throw out there.
Yeah.
So a few things coming out of the news side of things this week regarding AEW. Number one. So y'all probably remember how a couple times over the last few weeks I've been shitting on Bobby Fish deciding he wants to be a pro boxer of some sort, apparently. And he's going to take on some dude that's going to beat his ass in a couple weeks in Dubai. But it's become more of a joke of a show now.
Oh, boy.
I showed you this.
I think so.
Sammy Guevara is going to be a backstage interviewer for the show.
Yeah, that's right.
Really? That's how you're going to legitimize your show, Floyd? Really? Sammy fucking Guevara? Really? That's your choice. For some reason, I want to check to see if TK is a backer for this show, and I don't know why.
Right?
Like, how does Sammy Guevara even come into the fucking conversation?
Right.
Like, who is sitting there with Money Mayweather, plotting out this show, trying to figure out his commentary team, and just openly suggest Sammy fucking Guevara? Like, in what planet does somebody think that would be a good choice for a backstage interviewer? Just fucking stupid. Now, as a follow-up on TK being a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
Apparently, he was interviewed by Sports Illustrated sometime in the past week. And he gave the following quote about Ring of Honor.
Nah.
Quote, "We'll have great news soon about Ring of Honor weekly shows. The success of Death Before Dishonor on pay-per-view has ensured there'll be more Ring of Honor pay-per-views. Our goal is to have one more great pay-per-view for Ring of Honor in 2022, and then follow that up with a weekly show in 2023. By the way, that final event for 2022 is going to be the same fucking day as the next PLE for NXT. Just an FYI. So, yeah. I don't tell you. Just fuck me and fuck everyone else, basically.
But that's Trips trying to take his Tony Khan because he's mad at Tony Khan.
Now, I'm going to go to the AEW website and see if by chance I can see. So there's other events. Yep, here we go. Final battle. December 10th, Arlington, Texas. And apparently the show's going to start 4 p.m. Eastern, 3 Central.
Oh, okay. So it's not even going to be at the same time.
Right. So it's not going to be head-to-head technically.
Right.
And then they're staying in that area of Texas, well, ish, for Dynamite and a Rampage taping that following Wednesday in Garland. So they're spending a whole fucking week and a half in Texas, actually. No, Jesus. They're spending...
Dude, all they do now is Chicago, Texas, and Jersey.
Basically, the whole month of December is going to be Texas. They're in Cedar Park on the 7th for Dynamite and a Rampage taping. Mm-hmm. Final battle on the 10th. The 14th for another Dynamite and Rampage double dip. And the 21st is a Dynamite and Rampage double dip in San Antonio. Then they go to Colorado to end the year on the 28th.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what the fuck?
So here's something that people don't seem to want to realize. And that's when Tony Khan bought Ring of Honor from Sinclair Broadcasting. There were certain agreements and stipulations. And one of them was that he still had to agree to perform the pay-per-views that Sinclair had already scheduled for the year, which Death Before Dishonor, the One Mania Weekend, and Final Battle were already scheduled. Mm-hmm. So his whole thing of Death Before Dishonor was a success, so now we can put it. No, he was going to have to put this on no matter what. And Death Before Dishonor was not a success because we all saw how empty that fucking arena was. And it was not a big arena. So he's doing this because he's contractually obligated to put on these pay-per-views until he's done paying them off for it, because he has only paid them the first installment. And then as far as saying we're going to have weekly TV, that's just him talking out of his ass. He didn't say what network it's going to be on, what day it's going to be on, nothing. He's just spouting off shit to try to kick the can down the road while he's still trying to shop around a show that doesn't have a home. And the thing is, he's going to end up putting it on YouTube, and then all the goblins are going to go, well, yeah, it's good. It's on YouTube. I can watch it anytime I want.
Sure.
Because, it's just like Dark and Dark Elevation. Those shows matter.
I like that you gave a little laugh before you finished that. Thank you. I'm trying to find. I know they revealed.
The banner is just fucking Samoa Joe.
No, not for Final Battle. I'm trying to think of where.
Oh, and apparently, because Honor Club is still taking money from people, mm-hmm. They still haven't put up Death Before Dishonor on Honor Club, and it's been a few months.
This is my shocked face.
People are still paying for it because they're dumb.
I can't find. This is the last fucking screen I'm going to check for this. Because I can't remember the fucking name that they gave the NXT show for that night.
Oh, yeah.
Deadline.
Yes, there Deadline. Yes, yeah.
NXT Deadline, December 10th. Yeah, obviously going to be a PLE because it's a Saturday, so.
Right.
So, yeah. Trying to think if there's anything else. Oh, there is something else for Ring of Honor. My apologies.
Mm-hmm.
Contract-related stuff. Number 1, Ace Steel. He gone.
Yep.
Number 2, Mr. Jericho signed an extension through 2025. And in the structuring and wording of the contract sounds pretty much word for word like Jon Moxley's, essentially.
And they sent the press release to fucking Variety.
Yes, because...
But we're not sports entertainment.
Because Jericho's a rock star. Sure. He's as much of a rock star as I am a competitive eater. Lastly, rumor and conjecture abound, and I can't wait for you to react to this. Not only is there rumor and conjecture that AEW is looking to negotiate a buyout of CM Punk's contract, rumor and conjecture also exists that right place, right time, right money negotiations could work out between Hunter and Punk.
No. Never.
Listen.
Not happening.
Do y'all not remember the shit storm that CM Punk lit on fire, let burn, and then lit on fire again back in 2013? He basically blamed him leaving WWE on 3 people.
Mm-hmm.
Chris Ahmad, whatever the fuck the doctor's name was.
Yeah, the Z-Pack doctor. Yeah.
Yes, him, Hunter, and Vince.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. Now, granted, he really dropped shit on Ryback.
Yeah.
But who wouldn't shit on Ryback, honestly?
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think of who else who did he really shit on?
Colt Cabana.
He didn't really, no, not in the podcast, no.
Oh, okay, sorry, my bad.
Colt was hosting I'm talking about the initial podcast It was actually a 2-part podcast.
Yeah.
Because the second part was like a Q&A of some sort they did after
Right,
that.
that's right.
But the initial podcast Punk did with Colt,
right, the Art of Wrestling,
the shit was basically on Doc, Hunter, Vince. He shit on Ryback, but didn't really say he had anything to do with him leaving. It was just part of the storytelling he was doing from his last 6 to 12 months.
Yeah.
Trying to think.
I thought he shit on Orton in that too.
He might have, but I don't think it was anything. If he did, it was nothing nearly as memorable as the Ryback shit. Because I remember, it's like, motherfucker, did you do it on purpose, or are you just that fucking stupid?
Right.
Great. I don't really remember him shitting on anyone specifically, other than. I want to say maybe he shit on Del Rio, but
probably
I don't remember. But anyways, yeah. So if you don't remember that, after you finish watching or listening to this podcast, go look up Colt Cabana CM Punk from 2013 from Colt Cabana's podcast,
The Art of Wrestling. Yep.
Go listen to that, and you tell me if you think there's any chance him and Hunter go to the negotiating table together.
Dude, it's just the fact that, like, I've seen people like, oh, blah, 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 you know, now Punk's just a hypocrite. I was like, he was a hypocrite the moment he walked out on AEW on that Rampage in Chicago and said, I'm back because I love wrestling. No, you're back because you fucking love money. Plain and simple. Like,
and couldn't hang it as an MMA guy.
Right. He couldn't hang as an MMA guy, but also, like, he says, like, oh, I'm going to talk all the shit about WWE. That didn't stop you 2 years prior from taking a fucking paycheck from Fox to go do WWE backstage.
Yep.
Like, and there were negotiations at that time to try to talk him into coming back to the ring. And he was like, no, I want nothing to do with wrestling. I'll do this because Fox is paying me, not WWE. He's a piece of shit. He was exposed as being a piece of shit. And if you think Hunter, who has a publicly traded company, is going to take a look at that fucking shitstorm he started on that media scrum and go, I want to give him a microphone, you're fucking crazy.
There is one... How should I put this? There is one thing that is good in a way. And that's WWE isn't nearly dumb enough to do those media scrums like AEW does.
Yep.
Or if they do, they're within character. There's nothing...
And they're done with real fucking press freaking people and not
Correct.
People with 12-year-olds with podcasts.
Correct. Hi, Denise.
That AJ is awesome, whatever the fuck that is.
Oh, yeah, that's it. But yeah, so people are stupid. So, I think that's...
And plus, like, if he's injured, like legit injured with this arm thing, like...
Make him free for 6 months.
At least.
And Khan's probably going to put out like a 2-year no to compete, so... Look with that.
Whatever, it doesn't matter. Like, literally, he's gonna just hand Punk $10 million, and because he's gonna be like, oh well, I'm gonna make it back on the Warner Discovery negotiation, and then they're gonna be like, we're gonna give you $5 million instead of 40, and he's gonna throw a fit.
You're funny. All right, let's move on to WWE. Let's begin. Let's go in chronological order. Let's begin with Monday Night Raw. Opens with a cold open. I've been doing a lot of these cold opens lately. I don't know what to make of them.
It's something different.
So Lashley's in the ring. He calls out Brock. Brock comes out. Brawl ensues. Bobby walks away. Brock does not. At least not on camera.
Right.
Then we get to Gallows and Anderson beating Alpha Academy with AJ ringside. Judgment Day comes out. They lay out a 6-man tag challenge for Crown Jewel.
And all the people are bitching.
And then AJ challenges Blanket for a one-on-one match later in the night.
Everybody's complaining about Carl Anderson now. You didn't catch the whiff of that?
What are they complaining about with Carl Anderson?
Because Crown Jewel is the same day as a New Japan event that originally had Carl Anderson advertised to defend the never open weight title.
I know. Because you went over you said that last week when you hypothetically said there's going to be a match at Crown Jewel. Fuck off. Just please fuck off. Kindly, please fuck off. All right?
I love
the never open weight title right now means as much as the TNT title. Okay? Right. It doesn't fucking matter. Who cares? He can go to fucking Wrestle Kingdom. Why? Because they're not going to have a fucking show that day. It's in the middle of the fucking week. He can go to Wrestle Kingdom and defend the title if they want him to.
Right. Plus, the never open weight title is designed for people who do not have a contract with New Japan currently. And of course, try to explain that to people like, then how come all these people that have contracts with New Japan held it? I'm like, guess what? They held it when they were in contract negotiations. When Jay White held it, he technically wasn't fucking under contract in New Japan, which is why they had him going over to Impact with it. And also, what I love is the fact that every article that has talked about this has laid out the fact that the flight time in between Japan and Saudi Arabia is 11 to 14 hours, and it would never work as far as the time frame. And they're like, well, you can do Japan and then fly to Saudi Arabia. Motherfucker, it just said that there is a 6-hour time difference between the shows and a 14-hour flight difference. Math, motherfucker, math.
They all apparently were offspring of Scott Steiner. Anyways, then we get fuck Comic Core, man. Don't even get me started with that shit. Then we get a Seth Rollins in-ring promo interrupted by Mustafa Ali, who challenges Seth, and then Seth lays out Ali. Basically says Ali's not on his level, essentially. Then we get Dakota Kai and Io.
But I'll wait.
Yeah, wait, because you have to get to the end of the show.
We'll get to the end.
Then we get Dakota Kai and Io Sky defeating Bianca and Candice in a non-title match. Riddle backstage interview with Kathy. Then talks to Ali after and says he'll give Ali the shot he deserves if he beats Seth later in the night for the U.S. title. And then they find Miz whining backstage about a knee injury. We'll get to that later. Then we get Cora Jade backstage asking Rhea to face Roxanne Perez on NXT the next night. Rhea accepts. Then I'm still indifferent about how I feel on this. JBL comes to the ring.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, anytime JBL's on a microphone is a great time. Much better than anything Booker T's ever produced on NXT the last couple weeks. That we'll get to that. Apparently, JBL is now going to manage Baron Corbin as he introduced him on Raw. And Baron Corbin's now on Raw in exchange for Mysterio going to SmackDown, which, whatever. You know, it's Corbin as the modern-day wrestling god. Should I vomit now or over the ledge of my porch later on? Anyways, Corbin beats Dolph Ziggler. God bless Dolph Ziggler. And, yeah. So,
You can tell JBL, like, has lost weight and doesn't go to the gym as much because that suit looked really big on him.
Yes, it did. Yes, it did. Then we get Miz providing an update to Byron Saxton in the training room, saying his knee still hurts. Then Gargano tricks the Miz into standing up just fine off the trainer's table. So, match is still on. Then we get Omos and MVP cutting a backstage promo on Braun Strowman, because, sure, they're still on Raw, I guess. I don't fucking know anymore. Then we get the OC and Cameron Grimes agreeing to team up on NXT the next night. Then
Grimes could have brought anyone. It shows them.
Then a fucking shit show all around the ringside area leads to Dominic pinning AJ Styles.
There were no winners in that match for me.
No, not really. Then we get Miz and Gargano backstage again. Johnny is starting to blow the whistle on... I don't know what the fuck he was.
Yeah, like he's got blackmail on Miz.
I didn't get what that meant, but okay, sure.
He basically said that Dexter that Miz did something to Dexter years ago, which is why Dexter is seeking revenge. And if Miz doesn't face him like a man, then Johnny's gonna like let everyone know what the hell Miz did to Dexter. Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of compelling.
I'm confused, but okay, sure. The only reason I'm confused is because Dexter existed for all this time in NXT. Never mind. I'll just shut up. Just shut up, Brian.
Right, but maybe it's going to be like he was stuck in NXT after not getting there for years because Miz did something to make sure he didn't get signed. I mean, there's some ways that could go with it.
We'll see. So then Dexter's making his entrance. Miz lays him out. Match never happens.
Yeah.
Sure. That's one way to get a psychopath out of your hair.
I feel like they're going to hold that off for Crown Jewel.
Then we get Damage Control backstage with Byron because everybody loves Byron Saxton. Then Miz and Gargano backstage again, and Johnny. Oh, this is where Johnny threatened to blow this on Miz.
Yeah.
there was a whole lot of Miz and Johnny in this show that just totally. That's why I got thrown off. I think there's like 3 or 4 different fucking segments with them. Yeah. Cleveland on Cleveland, I guess. I don't know. Then they have the return of Elias. He's about to start his song. Riddle comes out with bongos like a fucking pothead that he is before Elias can start his song. Then Seth interrupts during the introductory piano solo of Elias' song, and y'all know where this is going. That shit cans the whole segment, goes right into the U.S. title match. Seth retains over Riddle, then stomps Elias after the match. Then Ali prevents Seth from stomping Riddle on the title belt, and they brawl into the good night to end the show.
Right. Well, you got to figure also during the U.S. title match, there was a spot where Seth came outside and like dared Elias to hit him so that way he could win by DQ. And then so that caused him to hit Elias, which caused Elias to come into the ring for the big fuck finish. I mean, so what they're doing basically here is they're setting up a couple of different avenues for U.S. title feuds, which is good. However, this is my problem. They're only number one, Ali. Ali was a heel 3 weeks ago. After not being seen on TV for months, where when he disappeared, he was a babyface. Then he came back, it was a heel, and now he's a babyface again. And there's only one reason they're doing it.
Crown Jewel?
Exactly, because they can't have Mansoor go over there with the gay gimmick.
You're getting a fatal 4-way at Crown Jewel. You don't see this now?
I only see it being Seth versus Ali. I don't see a fatal 4-way. I see Seth versus Ali, and then they're going to pick up with the Seth Elias feud after that. Seth and Ali is a stopgap just for Crown Jewel, so they can put Ali on the show so that there is a hometown person to cheer for.
Take the L.
Whatever. I mean, I don't care for Ali, but I'd much rather see him in a match instead of Mansoor for the 1,000th time in Saudi Arabia getting a win out of nowhere on someone that he doesn't deserve a win over.
It's Mansoor.
Whatever.
And Marseille.
He's terrible.
And Maxine Dupree.
But yeah, they know that Trips is smart enough to know we can't bring them over there with this gimmick because culture. And we'll leave it at that.
Yeah. All right. So then we get to NXT the next night. Rhea beats Roxanne in the opening match. Then we get the OC and Grimes backstage with Gallows sniffing $100 bills like they're kilos of coke. That's nice. Then we get Waller backstage with Mackenzie. Gets interrupted by Chucky on the fucking screen behind Mackenzie. Sure, cool. Then Tony D reveals Stack's mystery opponent to be Shinsuke Nakamura.
Because
you're gonna learn today, boy.
Right?
And Shinsuke beats Stacks. Then Tony D after the match says, "You did me proud. You did me proud, boy."
You okay?
That was not very Italian, but whatever. Then we got Frazier and Axiom talking backstage about their 3 series they just had, where they get interrupted by Stone and Wagner. Sure, cool, whatever. Then Alba Fire beats Sonya Deville, but then gets jumped by Gigi and JC. Mandy starts coming out. Alba eventually fights them off, and then fights off Mandy. So basically, we were just feeding Toxic to Alba for 3 or 4 weeks, and then Halloween Havoc happened, which we'll get to in a little bit. Then Wesley and Oral Ments are backstage. They get jumped by Trick and Mello. Fight comes out to the arena to start their tag match, where Trick and Mello eventually win. And then Wagner and Frazier, the other 2 members of the ladder match coming up at Halloween Havoc, join the brawl after the match. Then we get Braun interviewed backstage by Mackenzie. Grimes and the OC beat the Schism in a 6-man tag. Then we get Veer Mahan interviewed backstage by Mackenzie.
Yeah.
Sure.
Veer and Saga are going to be the Dapper Hindus. Fuck yeah.
Then we get a package for the women's tag title as well as the contract signing. Sure. Cool. Then we get Julius and Damon interviewed in a split shot. Shotzi's revealed as the host for Halloween Havoc. Zion interrupts her and offers to be her co-host. And Quincy Elliott comes out, says, "Fuck that mess." Then Shotzi says, "How about the winner of the match you're about to have is the co-host?" And Quincy wins. So Quincy Elliott's the co-host with Shotzi.
It's good to give Quincy a kind of a push, but at the same time, like, what are they doing with Zion Quinn? I don't get it.
I don't know. Then we get a Chase U pre-tape, which is interrupted by Chucky. Sure.
Chase U pre-tapes are always good.
Then we get Pretty Deadly and Blade and Nofe having their contract signing for the tag title match coming up
this Tuesday.
Yes. Then Cora Jade beats Raquel by DQ. Or did I get that backwards?
No, Cora won by DQ because basically, even Raquel said, "I can't get a good match out of this bitch." Whack.
And then she gets jumped. The Cora gets jumped by Roxanne afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
Then Briggs, Jensen, and Fallon are having a party backstage.
Yeah.
I don't know where that fits, but okay.
Wasn't it a Halloween party?
Yeah, but I
don't know.
It was just so random. That's all. Then we close with the KO show with Braun, Ilya, and JD. Ilya lays out both of them, raises the NXT title in the air, but then Theory walks out with his briefcase to end the show, which in the end didn't make a lick of fucking sense, but
it was a tease. There was most of the stuff on the show was designed to get eyes on watching Halloween Havoc on Saturday. So not everything had to go somewhere, but that was why they had all the people from Raw and SmackDown on there, was just to get eyes on it, to be like, there's a pay-per-view this Saturday, you should watch it.
Easter eggs that didn't make sense. Basically.
Yes.
Oh, here it is, my notes. This is what I get for not reading all my fucking notes. Next Premium Live event, 12:10 at the PC. Wow, I'm a fucking idiot. Eddie Hooser will come back to NXT in a moment, but first, SmackDown was on Friday, which comes before Saturday. This is what I learned in school. Solo Sikoa beat Sheamus in a one-on-one match to open the show.
Good, nice stiff cemento. It was good.
What else would you expect? It's Solo and Sheamus.
Yeah.
Then we get Ray and Imperium backstage from earlier in the day. Sans Gunther.
Yeah.
Ray challenges Kaiser to a match later on. Okay. Then we get Bray's backstage promo.
The music was too much.
Wait, not just too much, it was too loud. Too loud.
Yeah.
Pot it down a little bit.
Yeah.
The quote I took out of it was, quote, "I'm just a servant now. I go where the circle takes me."
Mm-hmm.
Sure. Then we get Solo, Sammy, and the Usos backstage. Whatever. Then Liv and Sonya goes with double count out because Morgan snaps while on the outside with Sonya and refuses to put either of them back in.
Stop trying to make Liv into Luna Vachon. Just stop.
I don't know if they're trying to go Luna Vachon. I think
they are. They're trying to make her crazy. I mean, everyone's like, "Oh, she was wearing a Harley Quinn shirt." She was doing that back when she was with Riot Squad. That's not new.
I think they're trying really hard to make people believe she's going to be joining Bray Wyatt, and it's not going to happen.
It's not. Or something. Not Luna Vachon, but more recently, they're trying to make her into what
Nikki Cross was.
Thank you. What Nikki Cross was in NXT. That's what they're trying to do with her.
And the reference you're making is Liv superplexing Sonya into a stack of chairs in the ring after the match. Right. Then we get an LA Knight vignette. Yeah. Then a Viking Raiders vignette.
Mm-hmm.
Then Braun challenges Omos. He cuts an in-ring promo, challenges Omos for Crown Jewel. MVP accepts on his behalf.
Yeah, we called that.
Yeah. Then Drew backstage with Kayla announces there's going to be a cage match at Crown Jewel against Cross. Okay. Gotta have a cage of some sort, I guess, when you go to Saudi.
Well, I mean, you need something to keep interference out, so yeah.
Sure. Then Damage Control retains their women's tag titles over Raquel and Shotzi. Ronda backstage with Kayla. Couldn't give two fucks, honestly.
Well, then, what was the incomparable shit that Ronda was talking about during that? She said something like completely off the rails. I forget what.
I'm a bad bitch. No, fuck.
Yeah, something like that. It's not memorable because I can't remember it.
Right. Then they show Legato backstage.
Mm-hmm.
And then they show Hit Row reacting to what Legato said. Ray beats Ludwig Kaiser. And then we close the show Logan Paul in the ring, attempting to cut a promo or what he thinks a promo is. Then Jey Uso jumps Logan Paul. Sammy comes out to try and get Jey to leave. But Jey ignores him, turns back around, and gets nailed by a lucky punch from Logan, and that's how we go off the air.
It's weird how Logan Paul is a guy that has a podcast who basically talks for a living. But he's still really nervous when it comes to in-ring promos.
It's one thing to sit in a studio with 3 or 4 of your friends, another to speak in front of 10 to 20,000 people.
Yeah, but I mean, at the same time, like, you just need to, like, put yourself in the mindset of that level of comfort that you're in, and then it comes naturally. Like,
imagine they're all in their underwear.
No.
Listen, that's the trick I've heard before, right?
The wrestlers already are.
Never mind, forget it. I was gonna say something, but I'll just leave it alone. Was there really anything else I didn't mention about SmackDown that?
Not really.
No, okay.
Oh, there was some flashes that people took from the still frames with the Bray Wyatt stuff, and there was like a dude with like a half mask on. It looked like the Undertaker's hat with Hulk Hogan's handlebar mustache and like skin over it, and people are claiming that's Uncle Howdy, and people are claiming that it's everyone from Bo Dallas to Vinny Marseglia to fucking Hulk Hogan himself to Barry Windham. Like,
let me react to a couple of those names you just said. Real quick. Let me just do something. Number one, Barry Windham is fat and old. That's not happening.
I know.
Number two, Hulk Hogan's lucky if he can walk 10 feet at this point, let alone wrestle.
Right.
Number three, let me try to think of another name you just said. I mean, Vinny, maybe. If that's really the direction they want to go, maybe. Yeah. And who's the other one you fucking said?
Bo Dallas.
I couldn't fucking care less, honestly.
Right.
And is he going to run around the ring with a pig mask on with his thumbs in the air? Like, what the fuck are we doing? Like, raise your hand if you care if it's Bo Dallas or not. That's what I thought. Okay. The hell's the other thing I was going to say? That's all news and notes. We'll get to that later. All right. Oh, actually, one note from SmackDown. Just a reminder, ladies and gentlemen. SmackDown, because the World Series for Major League Baseball starting on Friday night. Gotcha, bitch. Because of the Major League Baseball World Series starting on Fox this Friday evening, SmackDown will be on FS1. So just a reminder, if you're a DVR kind of person like I am, Fox Sports 1 for this Friday SmackDown.
That means I can actually DVR it.
Correct. So, just a reminder. Once again, Fox Sports 1 for SmackDown this week because baseball reasons. Now we get to Halloween Havoc. First of all, JJ, hold on. We're not even going to get into. I have some very specific comments to mention, and it's before we even hit the 8:00 mark. Number one, I want to know who cast this pre-show because you basically gave us the Beauty and the Two Chodes.
Seriously.
Number two, and I will say this every time I see him, even if it's just part of a fucking promo package. Fuck Dave LaGreca. Suck a dick.
Yes.
Not only because I just dislike the motherfucker. You weren't even good.
Right.
You did nothing for me. At least Sam I kind of laughed at on occasion. You did nothing for me, Dave.
Yeah.
Absolutely nothing. Like, sorry. No. Like, and couldn't you, like, just in general, couldn't you bring in better people to be around Mackenzie Mitchell? We have to keep going to the Sam Robertson podcast host block because, like, one was I think Denise Salcedo was like a guest host with her, and now we brought in Dave LaGreca. Like, what the fuck is next? You gonna bring in Wade Keller to be a co-host? What the fuck are we doing here?
I'd actually kind of like Wade Keller to be there.
You get my point, though. Okay?
I know. It's just I don't get it. Like Sam Roberts, I used to like Sam Roberts like years ago when he was just like doing his own interview thing. But the second they started letting him be on WWE programming, like he thought he was one of the boys and started acting like he had a character and just no, you have nothing. Like I have no use for you anymore. And I guarantee the only reason David Greco was there was so Hunter could get under Tony Khan's skin. That's the only reason he was there.
Sorry, I needed a second to breathe. Okay. All right. Now we get to the actual show. Number one. Who the fuck told Vaughn that braids look good for him?
He who walks behind the cornrows.
Awful. Awful.
Everything about Von Wagner is awful.
I don't know who the fuck recommended that hairstyle for him that night, but no. Yet. 9. Let's see. The next notes I have. Bello is money. We already knew that. I think Frazier and Mensah are the truth. Like they're the future of that brand for the time being, for the immediate time being.
Yeah.
Fucking Von.
He's awful. He is so awful.
No. I'm not even talking about his wrestling. Motherfucker, if you're pulling out a big ladder, watch where you're going.
Exactly.
How do you not look to see if you're going to hit a fan when you pull a ladder out from under the ring?
Fucking idiots.
Anyways, you could clearly tell, by the way, that was a ladder that was going to break within 90 seconds because you can see the fucking tape halfway up the fucking fucking thing, but whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But good for Wesley. He becomes North American champion, which brings me to a very, very, very poignant quote I have to say. Not all hugs are made to be the same.
Exactly.
For those of you on the YouTube side, you can see what I'm talking about. If you're not on the YouTube side, basically on one side, we have Tony Khan hugging Cesaro and, Claudio, excuse me. And Claudio basically giving him the get out the fuck off me, weirdo look.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, you have a still from backstage video of HBK hugging Wes Lee and congratulating him on becoming the new North American champion. One of these things is not like the other. One's creepy, one's not.
Yeah, I mean, so I was actually surprised that Wesley won, but it was a good surprise. I'm glad that they're giving this kid a chance, considering he got the short end of the stick just a few months ago.
You think?
Like they could have easily just like given him something and then released him quietly a couple of months later, and instead they decided to run with this and actually try the kid with the singles push, which we'll see where it goes from here, but I'm happy for him.
And not only did Sean congratulate him, there was like industry-wide congratulations coming out for Wesley, because a lot, like especially Trey Miguel. Trey Miguel was an emotional mess all night from that.
Yeah.
So it's good to see that Wes is being given a shot, given a fair opportunity. Now it's just a matter of how far you can take the ball and run with it, basically. Yeah. Then we get to what I know was one of your favorite moments of the night. Toxic Attraction driving to a haunted house for basically a half cinematic match, half real match kind of thing, where Alba fights off Toxic Attraction throughout the haunted house and then drives off with Mandy in the back seat and leaves Gigi and JC.
I have so many issues with how this panned out afterwards.
Well, we'll get back to that.
So many issues.
So after that, we got to Apollo Crews and Grayson Waller in what was, by the way, they spun the wheel to make the deal on this match during the pre-show, I forgot to mention.
Yeah.
Landed on casket match.
Mm-hmm.
So raise your hand if you thought that was the real casket they brought out to start the match.
I feel like that was an intentional rib on TNA and AEW because of the cheap ass caskets they used for their shit. Like what was it? It was a coffin match between Bully Ray and someone where like the shit like fell apart like a minute into the match.
Yes.
Because it looked like it was like a cardboard one from Spirit Halloween.
Yes. At the same token, all the fucking drama and druids and shit with the second casket, I just thought it was a bit much, but whatever.
It was, but I mean, the match was okay.
Apollo ultimately beats Waller in the casket match, so yay.
And you didn't jump through the coffin afterwards like some people do, fucking Trash Panda.
Then we get what I'm assuming was probably one of your bright spots of the night. The Chase U pre-tape.
Yeah.
And Duke Hudson's apparently joining as a transfer student.
And Bodie doesn't trust him.
Yeah, sure. That's gonna be a match within 2 weeks.
Right.
Then we get both tag champs backstage with McKenzie talking about their title defenses coming up on Tuesday. And then we get Roxanne and Cora Jade in a Weapons Wild match. Question. Was it really necessary to do a trust fall down from the crow's nest through a table? Like, you could have something a little more effective looking than a fucking trust fall. That's essentially what it looked like.
Could have been a hug.
I mean, fuck. I mean, shit. Even the belly to belly would have looked more effective than that.
Yeah.
Like, it basically looked like Roxanne said, "Come with me," and then they basically fell side by side with each other.
That whole match was just another one of, I can't pull a good match out of Cora Jade, so we've got to do a bunch of gaga. Because Roxanne obviously has talent and Cora Jade does not. But Cora Jade's fucking the champ, so we got to keep pushing her.
By the way, happy birthday, Braun Breaker. So we get sorry. Then we get Shotzi and Quincy in the ring. Then they get interrupted by Lash Legend. Shotzi lays her out, thank God. But now that means they gotta face each other on Tuesday night.
And Shotzi is going to be like, I can't pull a good match out of this bitch. I feel like this is the Halloween Havoc and the next 2 weeks of NXT programming are all going to be centered around, do we actually keep these people around till the end of the year? That's what I feel like.
I agree. And I'll give you the answer for Lash Legend. Would you like to hear it?
Please.
No!
Mm-hmm. I feel like Lash and Von Wagner and Robert Stone are all going to be collecting unemployment soon.
Robert Stone's going to Impact.
You think?
Then we get a Schism pre-tape. They say they're going to reveal the person in the red hoodie this Tuesday. I couldn't even begin to fucking guess who the fuck this is.
I have a feeling it's going to be one of the girls from UK they haven't brought over yet, like Zaya Brookside or Isla Dawn or one of them.
Because we haven't seen her since Worlds Collide, could it be Blair Davenport?
Maybe.
Because all this shit with the hooded person started after that.
Yeah, it's a possibility.
I'm just throwing it out there, just because you mentioned UK girls. I don't know.
Right.
A
lot of those UK people haven't been seen since Worlds Collide. Fucking the Japanese chick, she hasn't been on. Tyler Bate ain't been on.
Is Walter's girl still working?
Jenny?
Yeah.
She hasn't shown up yet, but she will be.
I mean,
could be.
I don't know. Just throwing it out there.
Yeah.
Then we listen. For any of you workers who might be watching or listening to this show, here's a word of advice. It's probably not a good idea to be chucking pumpkins at someone when they could easily overshoot that someone and hit somebody in the fucking crowd. How did Julius Creed think it was a good idea to be chucking pumpkins at Damon Kemp when he was standing in the ring? Like, they don't have the plexiglass around the ring anymore, motherfucker. If you aim high and miss, that shit's going right into a fan's face. I'm assuming you didn't like that.
That entire fucking match. Like, everything after the casket match was downhill on this show. Everything.
Everything?
Everything. There was so. Why would you get all the way over to the ambulance and then, because you can't close the door on the first try, yank them out and bring them all the way back to the fucking ring? To go all the way back to the ambulance to take all the way back to the ring again.
See, the point you finally mentioned that to me during the match, he didn't pull Julius out of the ambulance.
No, okay.
Julius fucking jumped out of it and was like, fuck this shit. Let's end this now.
Right.
That's
but
pretty much what that was.
Still fucking terrible.
I get it. The funny thing was, the match was so indie-rific, it actually had me kind of entertained for some reason. I don't know why. Maybe it was one of those things where it was so bad it felt kind of good kind of thing. I don't know.
It was fucking awful.
By the way, fans, there was no need to chant "use a pumpkin." Fuck off.
Seriously.
Anywho, her joyous wins, so Brutus is safe, and yeah.
Ugh.
Sure. Then Mandy and Alba finally show up at the PC, coming through the front door, find their way towards the ring
as the ambulance is leaving,
and then. Can somebody tell me what Uber driver gave Gigi and Jason Jane a ride back to the PC?
Thank you. That is my entire fucking point. If you're looking at the time span of the way the show was fucking done, it shows that there was an hour fucking span between the time she left the haunted house and the time that they fucking show up at the fucking PC. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, here comes these fucking people that were stranded in the middle of nowhere. But somehow got there, lickety split. That made no fucking sense. And you did all this shit. You did all these weeks of building up a fucking person to fucking finally take out Mandy Rose just to do the same old fuckery that you've been doing for the last year with her. And the thing is, like, okay, you know something? I will go back and say something that I said when Dolph Ziggler won the fucking NXT title and said, this is where you could have a veteran heel long run, have every babyface claw their way to trying to beat the veteran heel until finally someone does. You know why that would work, Dolph Ziggler? Because Dolph can fucking work. Mandy Rose cannot fucking work. I don't care what anyone says. There's a reason she got kicked back down to NXT, because she can't fucking work and she can't fucking talk. And given these great value goth cunts with her does nothing for the whole thing. This whole fucking act is stale and has been since the first week. And Shawn Michaels cannot fucking book. The man is an amazing in-ring performer, great technician, ring psychology out the ass. He cannot fucking book.
I think you jumped the gun on the Shawn not being able to book thing, but okay, sure. The reason why is because I didn't get to the main event yet, so why don't you hold your fucking horses?
It's just gonna give me more proof.
Then we get a backstage segment with Mackenzie. She's interviewing the contenders for both tag title matches this week, starting with Zoe and Nikita. Then eventually No Faye and Blade come in. So, yeah. Then we get to the main event. I will say this. You may not have liked the end result. I may not have liked the end result. But...
neither did the crowd.
But... at least admit it was a good match.
It was up until the last 2 minutes. Because then it became the same old paint-by-numbers Braun Breaker finish.
Well, we're talking overall.
They made Dragunov look like shit by having him get pinned flat at the end. Like, have fucking McDonough, if you're gonna have Braun win anyway, have McDonough get taken out for good and let Braun and Ilya have a one-on-one. Now you can't do that because Braun kicked the shit out of Ilya on his own. And you took the guy. This is the guy who beat the unstoppable Walter. And you just said, nope. Because we already fed Walter to fucking Braun in a fucking 5-minute free TV match. Just fucking, and the crowd was booing when he fucking won. They wanted Ilya.
Who's even left?
There is, okay, so if you go by main event people that they could possibly put against Braun in the upcoming months, you've got Apollo Crews if he sticks around. You've got Mello if they finally pull the fucking trigger on that.
Mello's going main roster. That ain't even going to happen.
I'm hoping Mello goes to the main roster, but if he doesn't, he's who you put against Braun. You've got Dijak coming back. You've got Joe Coffey once he's not injured.
I was hoping you'd say somebody from Gallus. Good, thank you.
Yeah, and that's about it because he plowed through Dragunov, he plowed through McDonough, he's plowed through fucking everyone. Like it's.
I have a question. I have a question.
Yes.
I'm trying to remember his fucking name. Hold on. Oh, where the fuck is Trent Seven?
I don't think he opted to come over the pond when UK closed.
Fucking pussy.
I think he's just sticking to training people over there and helping run Progress.
Is that? Who would you prefer, him or Braun Breaker?
I've never seen the big deal with Trent Seven.
You still take Braun over him though?
I won't know, but I just don't see any money in it. This is what I'm saying.
Just get it off him.
Well, yeah, I agree.
At this point, just fucking get it off him. Christ. I have one general conclusion I came to at the end of this NXT show. Aside from you saying Sean can't book. I'm sorry. Booker T's branded commentary does not fit NXT. If you want him yelling "shucky ducky quack quack," put his ass back on SmackDown. Like, flip him and Wade. Like, put Wade back. Actually, no. Better question. Okay. If you wanted to make a change so bad to these commentary tables, like they did with putting Kevin Patrick at the play-by-play for Raw and doing a two-man booth with him and Corey Graves. If you wanted to make the change where SmackDown Fridays was officially Wade Barrett with Michael Cole, at least until McAfee comes back. If you were going to make all these fucking changes, what was so wrong with the idea of just having Nigel, for the time being, transition from NXT UK to NXT in Florida instead of bringing in fucking Shucky Ducky Quack Quack Man?
Because I think the deal is that Nigel will get rehired when NXT Europe starts. But I think the reason of having Book there is so Book was already going to be there to help with the kids in the PC and also to try to barter some stuff between the PC and his school to have some PC kids go over there and work there with his greenhorns to get them more experience. I think it's a working deal. And I mean, it was Book's first week on commentary. Like, give him a little bit of time to get like I said, he needs to be Black Snow. Black Snow was fucking great.
If he keeps yelling "shucky ducky quack quack" every week, I'm gonna have a fucking aneurysm by the end of the month. Like, I might not make it through the holidays at this point. Like, I might be ICU by then. Jesus fuck. Anywhozer, couple news and notes to bring up in general. Number one, rumor and conjectures out there that WWE might be looking at doing a PLE annually from this point forward in the UK. Are you in support of that?
Oh, yes.
Okay. Number two, plans already have begun for the Raw 30th anniversary show this January, which I totally forgot was going to be 30 years. Mm-hmm. Wow, does that make us feel old? Just a little lot. Right now, the initial plans, apparently these plans were starting even back when Vince was still working. Initial thoughts were they were going to try to book Manhattan Center. Yeah. But I think the route you'll see Hunter go is more of what they did for 25, which was
where they did both. Yeah.
Half Manhattan, half Barclays. Or half MSG, wherever they might go. That would be my thought, but I just don't see how feasible having a whole 3-hour show in the Manhattan Center would be. That's
it's too small. It's too small.
Also, more rumor and conjecture. There's talk, apparently, of plans for bringing back the King of the Ring and Queen's Crown tournaments.
As PLA, yeah.
I'd be down for that. I'd be cool with that. But the last thing that is completely rumor and conjecture, but I'm going to phrase as a question to one Mr. Alexander. Mm-hmm. Are you ready for this? Because it's still fucking a wild one.
Sure.
Would you be okay? And again, this requires a lot of circumstantial things to happen. Would you be okay with Dwayne Johnson taking on an executive role within WWE?
Absolutely.
How feasible do you think that is?
Depends.
Just give a rough percentage. Rough percentage. Because the only stuff it seems like he's really doing right now is the Black Adam type stuff. Like,
right.
I mean, obviously, we don't know what other movie deals are in the works, but
well, you got to also consider he also is producing with $7 Entertainment, and he's got his irons in that fire because obviously Tales from the Territories is airing right now,
and he's helping run the relaunch of the XFL.
Exactly. So I'd give it a 50-50 shot.
Fair. And honestly, the only reason I even agree with you at 50-50 is because I would say let me try to speak English, Brian. I would say less if it were anyone but Hunter. Even if it was still Vince, I'd say less than 50-50 because it's Vince.
Mm-hmm.
But because it's Hunter, and he seems to like the idea of bringing back the old to work with the new.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I would say I'd be around the same of 50-50 with you. So yeah. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Let me try to check real quick if there's any news that's been brought out since. All right, so let me just go into real quick what we're looking at for Raw tonight. Bianca Belair against Bayley in a non-title match, one-on-one tonight. My assumption that's probably going to help.
It's non-title?
Non-title.
Oh, I thought it was for the title. Oh,
nope, non-title. Okay. My assumption is Bayley wins and earns another title shot when, I don't know, maybe Crown Jewel. I don't know. And then the only other match that's been announced so far for tonight is Carl Anderson going one-on-one with Finn Balor. Try to see if there's anything else. Yeah, that's it. Those are the only two things that have been announced for Raw tonight. So
interesting.
Yeah. So and then think of it this way. So Crown Jewel is the Saturday after Halloween, November the 5th. Survivor Series is 3 weeks after that, Saturday, November 26th, the Saturday after Thanksgiving. Mm-hmm. And then NXT Deadline is going to be 2 weeks after that on Saturday, December 10th, that night. And then earlier that day on the 10th is going to be Ring of Honor Final Battle. I'm assuming pay-per-view. Yes, on pay-per-view. There it is. So it'll be so figure this. Final Battle is going to be a 4 p.m. start that afternoon, 4 p.m. Eastern. And then assuming they go with the same setup as Halloween Havoc, that would make the NXT pre-show 7:30, the show 8.
Mm-hmm.
So basically you'll have like a half hour to an hour to breathe before the NXT pre-show.
Unless Tony Khan decides to make his shit run long just to be a dick.
With Ring of Honor, there's not a whole lot of running long he could really do. Like, let me think about this for a second. Ring of Honor, what was it? Death Before Dishonor? That was the last show?
Yeah.
Okay. That was, here we go. What, 8 matches, I think? Let me see here. Scrolling down right now. It was 11 matches, but 4 of them were pre-show. So, assuming... So the pay-per-view actually starts at 4. Hypothetically, let's say there's 7 matches, because that included every Ring of Honor title and then a generic singles match.
Yep.
So let's say 12 and 10, 22. 15 is 37. 15 is 52. We'll call that 20. So what was that? 52, so 72. And 12 is 84. It's not going to go, the main event's not going to go that long. So
unless Tony Khan does something stupid like schedule an Iron Man match.
Figure roughly 2 hours worth of matches. So if you include intros and maybe 1 or 2 backstage segments, you're probably looking at 2.5 hours.
We shall see.
And that's if you even get 7 matches, because who the fuck knows at this point? Because you haven't seen Mercedes Martinez in fucking forever.
Yeah.
Let's think about this. Hold on. So, there's going to be a world title match. There's going to be a pure championship match. There's going to be a TV championship match. There's going to be a tag title match because it's FTR. Which then leads you with the trios titles, which you'd assume they'll have Dalton and the boys in.
Whichever boys they choose.
Right. So then it comes to the women's title. Like, where the fuck is Mercedes Martinez?
Right.
And then did they decide to just have a random match like they did with Rush and Dragon Kid?
Right. Plus, like, we need to look at something else when it comes to Ring of Honor with Tony Khan being all like, oh, it's going to have a weekly TV show and all this shit. So if you recall, the bullshit line that Tony Khan gave was that Ring of Honor was going to be like their developmental. And it was going to be for developmental people to be able to shine in a setting before getting bumped up to AEW. Yet look at all their champions they have right now. They have Jericho as their champion. They have Daniel Garcia as their pure champion, who's shoved down our fucking throats every week. They have FTR as their tag champions. They have Samoa Joe as their TV champion. Like, none of this screams developmental. Well, I mean, Samoa Joe does to me, but anyways, like, none of this.
Garcia kind of,
sort of, but he's already been getting shoved down our throats in the fucking main event of Dynamite forever.
It's not like he comes from this big storied career like the others have.
Right. But so, are you going to take your people who are hardly ever featured on Dark and move them to Ring of Honor? Or are you going to go out and hire more indie darlings? Or, is Ring of Honor going to be an actual competitive show? Or is it going to be more squash matches for fucking people who are on AEW? Like, he has no plan for this, which he has openly admitted. And even if he does somehow pull a fucking deal out of his ass where he gets a TV show, he doesn't even know what he's going to do on that show. And he's going to burn himself out because he refuses to let anyone else be the final say on anything. And here's the problem that I've said before, but I'll say again, as far as Tony Khan goes, and it's shit like this bullshit story with the Acclaimed and the copyright and how the entire feud lasted a week. The problem is Tony Khan has watched too much indie wrestling, where you can take a story like that on an indie and have it go from one show to the next because there's a month to 6 weeks in between shows where you can hype it online with promos and shit to build. So you can do this happened at this show and the blow off is the next show. That works on the indies. It doesn't work when you have 2 television shows a week. At all.
You're right. I don't know. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see if and when they get a TV deal, how the corporate structuring maintains its current application use, basically.
Right. Like, what, you're just going to let Jericho book Ring of Honor because he's the champ? Then you're going to get in a situation where you're going to find out Jericho is about as good as a booker as Shawn Michaels is.
Gross. Ew. Who would ever do that? Like, no. I know.
This is Tony Khan.
It was a very rhetorical question, okay? Oh, God almighty. I don't know. Anyways.
So have we are we going to talk about how GCW all of a sudden has a working relationship with DDT?
All at the same time when rumors were coming about WWE and GCW starting to work together, apparently.
Where did that come from?
It's been all over the place the last few days.
I ain't heard shit. Remember
Brett Lauderdale and Steph apparently have some kind of relationship.
Yeah, sure they do.
Listen, I'm just going on the rumor and conjecture I've heard the last few days. Don't look at me like that.
Listen, once again, publicly traded company is going to have nothing to do with a fucking promoter who got outed for fucking having fake COVID permission slips made for fucking people on the roster so he could perform a fucking show.
You ain't got to tell me that. I know.
But it's funny, GCW working with DDT when wasn't AEW supposed to be working with DDT?
Isn't it appropriate that GCW is working with the Blow Up Doll Company?
Yeah, that's yeah. And the one thing is we did notice this past week is Jonathan Gresham's back to work. He worked the GCW show this past weekend.
Poor Jonathan.
I mean, he worked a regular ass match. He didn't do a death match bullshit, but at least Gresham was working.
Poor Jonathan.
I mean, I'm sure he got his money but once again, I still want to know who the fuck is funding Game Changer.
Bitch better have my money.
Because there is no way Brett Lauderdale is funding this on his own. There is no fucking way. Especially when he's still trying to hustle to get indie guys to fucking be street team for Jersey Championship Wrestling, which is the pre-show shit for Game Changer. Like, there's something going on. There is something going on.
You ain't gonna explain shit to me, man. I'm just reporting what I read. You can... That's all you, man. Anything else before I wrap it up?
Probably going to try to have a guest on the show in the next couple of weeks.
Oh, do I know this guest?
Yes. Going to have him chime in to talk about the show on Black Friday.
Oh, is it who I think it is?
Oh, yes.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Oh, boy.
I tagged you when he said he was available for interviews and stuff.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Let's just make sure he's laying off the booze.
Well, we'll do it during the day. He'll be fine.
Have you met him?
Yes.
He's sarcastic jerk off.
If we get him to zoom in from home, he won't be at Pappy's. Therefore, he won't be drinking.
Fair. Okay. Speaking of that, real quick before we go, Interspecies Wrestling, November to Remember, coming up Black Friday, November 25th, 8 p.m. in East Haven, Connecticut. Go check out their Facebook page, Interspecies Wrestling. And tickets available at interspecieswrestling.com. Got guys like Logan Black on the card against Angelo Carter. Mike Grotch, God almighty.
Tony Deppen versus Cecil Nix.
Correct. We also have, he booked CPA.
Yep.
CPA to tag match. If you don't remember who CPA is, go look them up. Also going to have, looks like the tag titles on the line, if I'm seeing this correctly.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And then, of course, the match that I personally would be looking. Oh, actually, two matches. Jeff Cannonball taking on Jeremy Leary one-on-one for the Falls Count Everywhere Championship. I didn't know that was a thing. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's a newer one of their titles.
And then the one I was referring to, Where Are You? I know Kennedy Copeland's booked. That's not who I'm referring to, though. Where Are You? Where Are You? Miracle Generation against the Air Show. That'll be interesting.
Yep.
That's not what I'm referring to. Where Are You? Where Are You?
I know what it is.
Oh, the goddamn title match. Tara Calloway defending the belt.
Against...
Oh, is it Tremont?
Yep.
Okay, yes. Thank you.
And a fans bring the plastic blocks match.
Yes, because you can't say the actual brand name of the plastic blocks, God forbid. So that's going to be Black Friday evening. Also, if I wasn't helping out the planning of it, I wouldn't mention it. Dynasty Pro Wrestling, Amsterdam this Saturday night at the Inman Center, Guy Park Avenue. Information, tickets, you can visit The Dynasty on Facebook or visit wearethedynasty.com. Yeah, that's going to be our first show since the night before my wedding in 2018.
Damn.
June 2nd, 2018, I worked commentary for that show, got berated for the way I did commentary. It was deserved. I was an asshole that night. But yeah, so coming out for that. The show after that, they're thinking January, sometime like the second weekend of January, probably. So more info to come about that at another time. That being said, thanks for checking out White Heat, episode 72. Presented by Godzilla Media. Sponsored by our friends over at Mohawk Con in Scotia, Glenville, Johnstone Supply, and Troy. And also, don't forget, this coming Sunday, the Hideaway Saratoga Lake Golf Course, the last October show for Levac and Gaz Football Sundays. Go check them out. Start at 11:30 a.m. for the broadcast. And yeah, that's that. I'm Brian. That's JJ. Our social medias, if you haven't been watching on YouTube and to see it scrolling throughout the show, I'm at Brian Katie on Twitter. He's at JJ_Alexander. And then the email for questions, comments, concerns. If you want to speak good of Booker T for me to not read it on the show, brian.katie@GodzillaMedia.com. JJ, have a spooktacular weekend coming up, sir. Enjoy
I'll try.
And
Shuggy duggy quack quack.
Fuck you. Goodbye.